So we close out our week starting a new psalm, and this psalm was likely written during Absalom's rebellion. So we go from 1 Samuel when David was running from Saul, that's Psalm 54, now to late in David's life, his grown son Absalom has tried to usurp his throne, and there's been a rebellion. There's been a treasonous rebellion that's unfolded. David has to again flee. Now, this may have been written when he was still in Jerusalem, but again, really complicated circumstances, politically treacherous times, dangerous times. David is being betrayed by friends and family, and it's a difficult time. And so, as is our custom, we're going to read this psalm. This is a longer psalm, so there are 23 verses in this psalm of David pouring out his heart to God. And there's really 4 sections of how we can process these times. And I'm borrowing from Warren Wiersbe when I quote what I'm about to quote in the 4 sections. Verses 1 through 5, we can look within at our feelings. Verses 6 through 8, we can look beyond for a safe refuge. Verses 19 through 15 and then 20 and 21, we can look around at their circumstances. Or verses 16 to 19 and then 22 and 23, we can look up to God and trust Him. So let's track David's perspective as we go through this psalm. The title or the description of the psalm is "To the Chief Musician on Neginoth Maskil." Those again are instruments, a psalm of David. So we read in verse 1. "Give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me. My heart is sore pained within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. Fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror hath overwhelmed me. And I said, Oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then would I fly away and be at rest. Lo, then would I wander off and remain in the wilderness, Selah. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues. For I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief is also, and sorrow are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my guide, and mine acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together, and walked unto the house of God in company. Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. He hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me. For there were many with me. God shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah. Because they have no changes, therefore they fear not God. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But thou, O God, shalt bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. So it's Psalm 55. The eyes of David, the pronouns go back and forth between speaking of God, speaking to a friend, speaking of enemies. So we'll track that as we go through the psalm. It's really important that you see the shift in his eyes in the text itself. But a lot here, a lot of encouragement from the depths of sadness, really. You can see that David is processing some deep, deep loss. But even in the depth of that loss, he says, I will trust in God. My friend, that's a decision you'll never regret making. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday or Monday.